Yo yo, Chinkapin Hollow gravel grinder, 109 miler. Do not listen to this paved unpaved. It is not 98% and 2%. There's a decent, definitely a lot of gravel on this one. So don't let that fool you. Just things to note. The start here, it's kind of through a grassy section. Let's go satellite real quick. So it starts at this. It was neutral until we popped out. It's kind of get to the top of this hill. So it was neutral all the way through here. You finish the same way. So you start and finish the same way, but it was neutral. As soon as it kicked on to like the dirt, and that was actually a decent little hill. So I was happy it was neutral. It got fast. It was kind of grassy, like 2-lane style road, but it wasn't scary at all. There was no real issues following lines or doing anything like that. So just make sure you can see where you're going. But there was nothing super crazy. Some people miss this turn coming home, so make sure you know where you're going, because it is kind of tucked into that corner. And then you stay. I think you end up on this road heading down, and then you pop off from there onto this other road. So go and zoom out. Nothing technical early. So you're on gravel until here, which is about the 4-mile mark. But it's not. None of that was sketchy, really. Big thing, you had some fast downhills and stuff like that. Really, the big thing here is, let me zoom out a little further, about here. So you end up having a section where you've got this sort of short climb. You take the left, slight little downhill, and then you need to be as far forward as you can be on this section. So mile 11.5 up to the top there, 11.8, which doesn't seem like much, but when I pop over to this, I mean, this is the section that sort of blew everything up. I'll zoom in on that, but we're looking at, if we get to the steepest part of that climb, 2 minutes at 13.2%. And I was climbing with a VAM, a vertical ascent in meters, as I was getting dropped, of 1,732. So as perspective there, that's like faster than what the Pro Tour guys are climbing, the longer climbs. A lot of the climbs that they're doing are like 1,600 meters per hour, VAM score. If you're not familiar with VAM, it's a way you can kind of see how many meters you're going up per hour at the rate you're climbing. So it gives you a feel for essentially how much effort is going to take place. And you can compare one climb to another one. So without going too far into it, all that to say, like, I was pushing over 500 on that. I don't have power going, but looking at other people's data, I was doing over 500 there, and ended up getting separated from the lead group of about 6 or 8. So super hard through there. It's going to separate things. I made the mistake of, I ended up kind of off the back of even a little second group. I chased to catch the second group. From that second group, we were trying to catch the front group and ended up popping a few folks. And we had kept the front group at about 20 seconds. So we chased hard. And essentially I was full throttle, kind of on the limit, trying to get to that front group from that 11.5 for the next 17 miles. So the next 45 minutes, was pretty full throttle, trying to chase those guys. This downhill, so pay attention here. This downhill section, a lot of that was, fairly flat and fairly fast. But there's a downhill right here, and this is where I ended up ejecting my bottles. So through this section right here, so you're heading west. It starts at the what mile marker is that? About the 28-mile mark. That's kind of a technical, fast, rocky little downhill. And I hit a bump in one of those little dips, twists, bends that ejected my bottles. So I had to turn around and go get those. And then I ended up in a second group. But you can see climbs after that. So like the next climb out there, I mean, my low speed was 6.5 miles an hour. Low speed on another climb, 6.5 miles an hour, 7 miles an hour. Another one, 6 miles an hour. So I was pretty well cooked, but still, we were in that second group, second chase group by this point, essentially. And you can just see the number of climbs where it's 7 miles an hour. So these are some steeper climbs, steeper than what it's showing, or at least, kind of technical. And they just start wearing on you. The nature of those climbs just start wearing on you. So this section here, so this is a fast descent, and it's at mile 55.5. So fast descent, you can see I was going 40 miles an hour when I ended up flatting. So it wasn't technical. None of these other ones were all that. They weren't really that scary or anything. This was a straight bombing. This was just a straight bombing descent right here. But I flatted there, and then after that, it was like just Hart and myself. Hart Robinson had flatted as well, and he and I were kind of both in the hurt locker by that point in time from all the chasing and efforts in the legs. Notable after that, I mean, nothing was super crazy. You can see we were just cooked. He was on power, I was not. There was a lot of time we were riding at kind of 180 to 200 watts. And on this climb here, this is a longer climb, not super hard, 5% grade, but you can see how much that VAM score has gone down. 1,700, or from 1,700 on that super steep initial down to 700 here. But this is one where it ends up, I believe it starts gravel. Sorry, I'm not keeping up with the map here. It starts gravel, and then it switches to road, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. There's a section of road, and then as soon as you take this left, so that's mile marker 101-ish. As soon as you take that left, it's a bombing downhill gravel descent again. And I again flatted there, which was not good. Here's the super steep climb is where? That's this one, I believe. I believe this is the super steep one. Yeah. So the super steep climb, you end up going downhill. So you have this little downhill left and then a hard right. And then you cross this little bridge right here, which you can't really see, but water was going over that bridge. So be careful. If you're on that, it's super slick. So don't go hitting brakes on that. And you'll see that wall coming. Only 2 people rode it all day from what I heard. One was the guy who is the founder of Moots Bicycles, and the other was Hart Robinson, who I was riding with. And he was challenging me. I did not ride it. He did. You would need a big time granny gear to ride that thing. Feed station right here. This was a neutral feed. That was at mile 90. So neutral feed happened there. I'm trying to remember where else the feeds were. I'm probably going to show it here. So I'll switch over to this guy. Feed zones. We did not stop at, so here's a cutoff point. We did not stop at this hydration only. We blew through that 44. My goal was to make it all the way to this aid station if needed, which again is at that 90 mile mark. We ended up stopping. We were way out of contention by that point. So we stopped there, refueled, and then carried on home. From what I remember, the hardest climbs were definitely that initial one in the early going. It's a long, long day. So remember, early on, if you're burning matches, you're going to end up in that place that I was at the rest of the race, where I was getting passed by folks and saying, y'all have a good day. Kind of at a point where I just didn't have the ability to chase. It was a bad day. After that, it's pretty straightforward. A lot of paved road until you get to that very end. So pretty straightforward finish to this one. Just make sure you have the route pulled up so you know where you're going. I think that's kind of all the major stuff here. So if there's questions, let me know. But the big things, that initial climb, some of these others are tough. You know, these are all going to wear on you. They're steep enough that they just start, each one's a match. And there's quite a few of them. So if you got questions on this, holler at me. And if not, good luck. Have fun.